the human rights issue. And I want to advise you members, when you invite these witnesses, you are inviting an office. An office is not a MK. There was a deputy CDF, I saw it on social media. You cannot start attaching a single person to this. It is an office. Like you find, if there is a house here, the deputy speaker is chairing. It doesn't have to be me. Honorable Mao, the issue of Eddie, who?
Madam Speaker, we are over 45 million Ugandans, and every day there are many infractions against the law. People are being killed, people are being robbed. It doesn't mean those who break the law are above the law. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable members, the court process is ongoing. The court process is ongoing. What we require to do is to make sure that we expedite the process. You sit, members, sit. Honorable members, I did not introduce Father Frederick to Singwire, the Parliament Court Chaplain. Father, you're welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Yes.
Honorable Speaker, I want to appreciate the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs for stating it very unequivocally that no one is above the law. And I want to appreciate him because he released a statement in regard to this particular matter, condemning the abduction and the torture of this person called Edward Sebufu. Away though from the letter, which I do appreciate he wrote. I don't know whether he wrote it because of the opposition politician he has been for a long time, but as a government official, we would want to know, is action going to be taken against this errant government official that broke the law? Because when a minister writes a statement saying a minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs writes a statement saying government official X, CDF, here you are breaking the law. You cannot gets to be taken against this errant government official, or is he above the law? And that's the question that I was asking. We have now recognized he was operating outside the law.
Thank you.
What then gets to be done? Is anything going to happen to him? And I'm glad even the Prime Minister has walked in. Maybe Honorable
very able and she's action oriented. Is she going to take action against this errant government official called General Muhozika in Rugaba?
Honorable members, I have never, just like when there is arrest by police, by army, I have never seen the IGP himself going to do the arrest. The arrest is done by other people. So you may not talk about the CDF now. We may need to look in depth. Who did it and why was it done. But then the court process must be expedited. Next item. Next.
Item number 3.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Item number 3 on the order paper. Item number 3 on the order paper, bills first reading. 3.1, the Copyright and Neighboring Rights Amendment Bill 2025.
Thank you. Honorable members, we've been having this bill for long, and I want to congratulate Honorable Kiaga, who introduced this bill. Now it was taken over by government. I now want to call the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs to table the bill.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. The procedural issue I am raising, the Honorable David M.i.S.O, former CDF, and usually is the one who comes here because the Honorable Tafire doesn't come. He came and told Parliament that when soldiers and policemen are arresting people, they must identify themselves. General M.i.S.O Kainerugaba, he said, I disagree with that minister. When I raised the issues here of deploying soldiers in South Sudan, and Parliament asked the Minister for Defense to explain, immediately the spokesperson of UPDF dismissed him. He said that one represents us only in Parliament. General Elweru there, he was called a buffoon by the CDF. One by one.
What is the procedural matter?
I am raising it if you allow me background. One by one, whether ministers, whether UPDF soldiers, whether committees of Parliament are becoming victims of CDF. So the procedural issue I am raising, Madam Speaker, whether you should not get government at the highest level to tell us, because recently he said, you opposition, you are going to beat you during elections. For us, we are Tutsi. These are serious matters that, Madam Speaker, everybody, every sane person must be concerned with. They are not matters that can just be ruled and we continue. I mean, I don't know, Erweru is about to run away. I don't know whether David M.i.S.O sits in his office comfortably. The Minister of Defense the other day was here. So we are all have become victims of this one man called M.i.S.O Kainerugaba. This Parliament must find a solution.
At least for me, I'm not a victim. Because honorable members, what we need to look at, where does that information come from? On social media, anybody can post anything, anytime. Next item. Honorable members, you're going to drag this order paper is long. Yeah, I'm going to give you after he has laid it. On him, eh? Okay. He has something on it.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Is alternative justice. Is the alternative justice. You just hear from him.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Madam Speaker, I have two procedural matters.
Honorable Minister of Works, while you are away, we raised the issues of the roads in Kampala, the accidents in Kampala, and as Parliament we are regretting why we even rationalize UNRWA. We want a statement from you tomorrow. We want a statement tomorrow.
It will come. It will come, Mama.
Okay.
Madam Speaker, I have two procedural matters. The first one regards the application of our rules of procedure. I have seen in circulation and a gazette saying that we have new rules of procedure which are not accessible by members. I don't have a copy, and I don't know whether this Parliament is now proceeding under the old rules or the new rules so that we are guided properly in processing the business. The second procedural matter is that I don't remember the day, but we had asked that the regulation, the new regulation by statutory instrument, I think called the UPDF establishment.
It will
and there was a
become the
commitment
first
from
world
the Attorney
country.
General that
We are
that copy
moving.
will be brought here.
As you see in the
Because
document,
it is
I
the
got
one
some
that
figures.
operationalizes the UPDF Act, and it gives
But
potentially
in every
the
country,
CDF some power.
it's highly developed.
If Parliament,
Is it
which made the
necessary
law, cannot follow on that establishment to see where the powers begin and end, it may be difficult. Some of the questions asked by members here may be in that regulation. Can we get commitment, and that
Thank you.
comes here so that we can examine whether the CDF and how the army is being managed now is in order, or there is something Parliament can do to change that law. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The issue of the rules should be, the rules will be distributed, the new rules that have been gazetted.
And Nkrumah and others, we started talking of Pan-Africanism, whereby we would not only link economically, but also
the clerk should distribute the new rules. That's what we are using now. The new rules should be distributed. AJ, on the issue of CDF.
Thank you, Right Honourable
UPDF.
Speaker. The UPDF is run in accordance with the UPDF Act. The establishment of UPDF is an administrative instrument which is used by the UPDF in setting up their structures internally. But all the powers are granted under the UPDF Act. That's where you should look.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker, that instrument.
He has only spoken English, which you've not understood. So you'd have asked him maybe to speak in Luganda. Yes?
Madam Speaker, you know I don't speak Luganda. Are you addressing me?
I'm responding to him.
Yeah, you make it clear to the person, because
to the person asking what has he said.
Thank you.
I mean,
thank you, Madam Speaker. So the issue I am raising is that that instrument was made pursuant to a provision of the UPDF Act. It is a statutory instrument, and by law, if you read that act, it's supposed to be laid here, so that Parliament can interrogate whether it does not contravene the spirit of the act. That's all I am asking.
Okay.
Yeah.
AJ.
Well, I think I don't know it. I'm going to go and look for it, but I don't know it.
Thank you. Honorable Mao. Honorable Mao. Let Mao first lay his...
Madam Speaker, there are some members who are above the law here, obviously, as I've seen. You can call someone to the floor, then they interrupt and say whatever they want.
I'm
also calling for rule of law in Parliament. Madam Speaker and honorable members, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Copyright and Neighbouring Rights Amendment Bill 2025 be read for the first time. I also beg to lay a copy of the bill and a certificate of financial implications. I beg to move, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Pursuant to Rule 129, Rule 1, Sub-Rule 1, of the Rules of Procedure, the bill stands referred to the Committee of Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, and Rule 129(2) applies.
Item 3.2, the Uganda People's Defence Forces.
Can I have these bills laid, then you bring your procedural matters?
Item 3.2, the Uganda People's Defence Forces Amendment Bill 2025.
Honorable Minister. The Minister is there. Honorable members, the Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs will lay the bill, and the bill is Uganda People's Defense Forces Amendment Bill 2025, and this bill is in compliance with the court ruling of the Kabaziguruka case. Yes.
Madam Speaker and honorable colleagues, I beg to lay the bill entitled Uganda People's Defense Forces Amendment Bill 2025 for the first reading.
Honorable Minister, wait, let.
Honourable Speaker, you have even told us that we have got new rules in this House because the intention is to see that we streamline and get orderly. There is a way we ought to operate. The Minister of State for Trade, the Honourable David Bahati, has come here and he has told us that he begs to lay a copy of I do not know what. Honourable Speaker, that's not the way procedurally bills are read for the first time. The Prime Minister is here. Madam Prime Minister, why don't you organize your cabinet? Because even Honourable Bahati has just been ambushed. If your Minister for Defence is not present, you say you are always in charge. Why don't you take charge? And the reason I'm insisting on this, Honourable Speaker, is because we have seen a certain draft making circulation. We want to be sure what is being laid. The one making circulation, according to what we have read, actually contravenes Article 92. Oh, I'm on point of order. Prime Minister, calm down. I'm on point of order. Just relax. Eh? The draft that we have seen making circulation, Right Honourable Speaker, contravenes Article 92, which says you cannot pass a law to upset a decision of court, because the Supreme Court said civilians have no jurisdiction under military courts. That's the one we are saying.
We'll debate
what is being laid here. We need to know.
We'll debate the bill when it comes. Let it be laid. Can you get the certificate and lay on table?
Right Honourable Speaker, Right Honourable Speaker, I'm requesting that the second thing on the agenda should be read within a minute.
The document is there.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker and members of Parliament. Right Honourable Speaker, my senior minister is here. I will kindly request that he comes and lays the certificates. Honourable Minister.
Honourable Minister of Defence, please lay the bill.
I take the pleasure to lay the copy of the certificate of financial implication.
Honourable members, Honourable Bahati move the motion. And okay, Honourable please start afresh.
In accordance with Rule 134 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament of Uganda, I beg to move that the bill
Honourable members. Yes.
Right Honourable Speaker. Where's the old? This 121.
Honourable members, Rule 134 is on the first reading of the bill. If you don't know how to read, go ahead.
Right Honourable Speaker, I appreciate the House, the guidance I'm getting from you. I beg to move that the bill entitled the Uganda People's Defence Forces Amendment Bill 2025 be read for the first time.
Thank you.
And I want to attach a copy of the Certificate of Financial Implication in accordance with Section 76 of the Public Finance Management Act 2015 as amended, and Rule 124 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament of Uganda, and I lay the same certificate for Uganda People's Defence Forces Amendment Bill 2025.
Thank you. Pursuant to Rule 129(1) of the Rules of Procedure, the bill stands referred to Committee of Defense and Internal Affairs and the Committee of Legal and Parliamentary, and in furtherance to Rule 200, Sub-Rule 3 of Rules of Parliament, the Chairperson of Legal and Parliamentary Affairs is hereby designated to chair the joint committee. He will be deputized by the Committee of Defense and Internal Affairs. Honorable Nambose, we are not in a market. Can we people move correctly? Given that this bill is straightforward, and I am not going to allow people to come and do politics here. Given that the bill is straightforward, honorable members, I expect the committee to handle this and should be resolved before the end of the 4th session. So I expect the bill back soon. Next item.
Item 4 on the order paper.
Allow me to first leave that item and we go to the tribute. Can we first have the tribute paid?
Item 7 on the order paper. Motion for a resolution of Parliament to pay tribute to His Holiness the late Pope Francis, the Supreme Pontiff of the Catholic Church and Sovereign of the State of the Vatican City, for his selfless and dedicated service to the Catholic Church and humanity.
Maybe Pope Francis died. On Easter Monday. Honorable Nambose, have respect to the 21st April 2025. Being an ionic global religious figure, it is only prudent that this House records a motion to formally pay tribute to him. And honor by canonization of Uganda matters in the Vatican. That was in last year. Pope Francis also came to Uganda, and pursuant to Rule 56 of Rules of Procedure, I will invite the Right Honorable Prime Minister to move a motion to that effect. Prime Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, I move under Rule 58 of our new Rules of Procedure for a motion of resolution of Parliament to pay tribute to His Holiness the late Pope Francis, the Supreme Pontiff of the Catholic Church, Sovereign of the State of Vatican City, for his selflessness and dedicated service to the Catholic Church and humanity. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, Whereas the Parliament of Uganda received with deep sorrow the sad news of the death of His Holiness Pope Francis, which occurred on Easter Monday, 21st April 2025 in Vatican City, aware that His Holiness Pope Francis has been a supreme pontiff of the Catholic Church and the sovereign of the state of the Vatican City from 2013 until his death, noting that His Holiness Pope Francis has been a unique and historic Pope, being the first Jewish Pope, the first Pope from the Southern Hemisphere, and the first person born and raised outside of Europe to be elected Pope since the 8th century, recognizing that His Holiness Pope Francis advocated for reforms in the Catholic Church by appointing various synods, including the Synod on the Family in October 2014 and 15, the Synod on the Young People in 2018, the Synod on the Pan-Amazonia region in 2019, and the Synod of Synodality in 2024, through which the Pope consulted the world Catholic Church on matters affecting the Catholic Church, appreciating that His Holiness Pope Francis lived a life of distinction, exalted, unique compassion and kindness, exhibited charity, selflessness, humility, and wisdom, and led a humble life free from any trampling of power, and gave up most of the privileges attached to the papacy. Further appreciating that His Holiness Pope Francis advocated for the protection of the environment, migrants, women and children, and preached for reconciliation and interreligious tolerance, advocated for the world peace and the peaceful resolution of wars and conflicts in South Sudan, Gaza, Ukraine, Democratic Republic of Congo, and other parts of the world affected by war and conflict. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, cognizant that His Holiness Pope Francis visited Uganda in November 2015 to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the canonization of the Uganda Matters, during which visit Pope Francis preached reconciliation, unity, peace, harmony, and urged leaders to work for the common good of the people. Further cognizant that His Holiness Pope Francis recognized and bestowed on two Father Gospel Ambrosi of Camboni missionaries of the Heart of Jesus, the right vulnerable at the event that took place on 20th November 2022 in Kalongo, Gulu Archdiocese. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Parliament collectively conveys its deep condolences to the Catholic Church and the people of Uganda for the loss of His Holiness Pope Francis. Number 2, Parliament takes cognizance of the distinguished, selfless, and dedicated service of His Holiness Pope Francis for the Catholic Church and humanity. The Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I beg.
Thank you, thank you. Is the motion seconded? Seconded by the whole House, Leader of Opposition, by the whole House. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Madam Right Honorable Speaker, the Prime Minister, can you speak to your motion? Just fine? Yes.
Right Honorable Speaker, I am not opposed to the motion, but I just wanted us to reorganize our records. My brother, the Attorney General, stood up in support, and yet he's not a voting member of the House. I just wanted
he was walking out.
I just wanted you to.
That's
to
why I only mentioned the Leader of Opposition. But Attorney General was walking out. That's a moment, a light moment.
Now that it is expunged, I'm comfortable.
That is a light moment. Prime Minister, can you?
Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, below is my justification. That on Monday, 21st April, we received the shocking news of the passing of Pope Francis, the head of the Catholic Church and sovereign of the state of Vatican City. Pope Francis, originally George Mario, was the 266th Pope of the Roman Catholic Church, but the first Pope to come from Latin America and from Southern Hemisphere. He was born in Buenos Aires, Argentina, on 17th December 1936. His father was Mario Jos Mogorio, who was an accountant, and his mother was Regina Maria Sivori, a committed wife dedicated to raising their 5 children. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, Pope Francis graduated as a chemical technician and then chose the path of the priesthood, entering the diocesan seminary of Villa Devoto in 1958 and becoming a priest on 13th December 1969. On 20th May 1992, he was appointed Bishop of Buenos Aires, and in 1998, he was named the Archbishop of Buenos Aires and was consecrated a cardinal in 2001. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, he was elected the Supreme Pontiff on 13th March 2013. The profound pontificate of Pope Francis touched many minds and hearts. He set a personal connections with individuals and peoples, with a close attention to those in difficulty, giving himself limitlessly, especially to the marginalized. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, he was a pope among the people with an open heart towards everyone. Rich in human cordiality and profoundly sensitive to today's challenges, the late Pope Francis truly shared anxieties and sufferings and the hopes of this time of globalization. Confronted with the present-day global inequality and raging wars with their inhuman horrors and innumerable death and destruction, Pope Francis persistently raised his voice, imploring peace and calling for reason and honest negotiation to find possible solutions. The late Holy Father extraordinarily used his purpose to push for action on climate change. He always proclaimed that environmental degradation is a moral issue spurred by greed and unchecked capitalism, which causes human beings to lose sight of relationships that bind them together and to neglect Earth, their common home. Promoting the concept of integral ecology, the late Pope Francis connected sinful actions against the natural world with the common exploitation of impoverished human beings and the abuse of human rights. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, Pope Francis was a Pope of the people, a transformative figure, and who embodied a spirit of international solidarity, has left behind an extensive diplomatic network across the world. Uganda was blessed to be one of the 68 countries the late Pope Francis visited in the 12 years of his pontificate, recalling that he never even visited his home country of Argentina while he was a pope. These visits offered Pope Francis and the opportunity to call for justice, peace, inclusion, and love for the entire human family. Many of Pope Francis's visits were undertaken as pilgrimages of peace and reconciliation in an open invitation to politicians to overcome partisan interests and push forward processes for the common good of their people. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, particularly while he was in Uganda in November 2015 to celebrate with us the Diamond Jubilee of canonization of the Uganda Matters, Pope Francis encouraged us to reach out to those in need, to cooperate with others for the common good, and to build a more just society which promotes human dignity, defends God's gift of life, and protects the wonders of nature. The Honorable Speaker, in a more concrete way, the late Pope Francis greatly contributed to the realization of the 2040 Agenda vision of transforming our country into a modern and prosperous nation. This was achieved through social welfare interventions and development projects of the Catholic Church, which the Pope leads. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, the Catholic Church has been collaborating with the government on various projects all over the country in quality education, holistic health and sustainable agriculture, humanitarian relief, peace maintenance, rural microfinance, among others. Right Honorable Speaker and members, on a more personal level, I had the opportunity of meeting in 2023. These one-on-one encounters left a lasting imprint on me, and I believe many of you, including you, Right Honorable Speaker. In these moments, what always shocked me most of hosting refugees on the complex subject and the grave question of family planning. His Holiness encouraged us to remain faithful to God's design in the generation and rearing of new lives. Pope Francis said marriage and conjugal love are by their nature ordained toward the procreation and education of children. He therefore implored us to reinforce the correct policies, laws, and practices on regulation of birth through natural, not artificial methods of family planning. He as well reminded us of the duty and responsibility of raising our children to reflect the image and likeness of God in which they are created. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, in February 2025, Pope Francis was hospitalized for several weeks that developed into double pneumonia. He was discharged in late March and subsequently made several public appearances, but sadly died on Easter Monday of 2025 of cerebral stroke and cardiocirculatory collapse. Pope Francis has left behind a towering legacy for individuals and leaders to emulate. Some key valuable lessons from his life and teachings include: 1. Humility, simplicity. Pope Francis emphasized the importance of humility and simplicity in leadership, encouraging leaders to act with humility and avoid seeking to elevate themselves above others. On compassion and empathy, he demonstrated genuine care and undertaking for individuals from all walks of life, fostering trust and connections with others. He was always on the side of the discarded, of those no one looked upon. On social justice and advocacy, Pope Francis championed the poverty alleviation, environmental stewardship, and human rights, urging world leaders to prioritize the poor and the vulnerable. On inclusivity and unity, he sought to break down barriers and promote unity, highlighting common values and shared humanity. On selflessness, on sacrifice and servant leadership, the Pope Francis emphasized the importance of self-sacrifice and a humble service in a good leadership, asking leaders to act with humility and respect towards others. On forgiveness, Right Honorable Speaker and members, and reconciliation, he advocated for forgiveness and reconciliation as tools for healing and peace building. Right Honorable Speaker, on environmental stewardship, Pope Francis highlighted the need to address climate change and promote sustainable practices. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, I would like to thank the Honorable Speaker for according this remarkable and admirable leader a special recognition in his honor through the consideration of this motion before the House today. That Honorable Speaker, as I end, I want to thank you and your delegation for having attended the burial of the Holy Father. The NRM government, under the wise leadership and able leadership of His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, wishes to extend its profound sympathies to the Catholic Church and the Christian family and all the people of Uganda. May the Almighty God grant his soul eternal rest. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prime Minister, for that tribute, and that speaks all about the Pope, his humility, the simplicity, the unity preached, the love for the poor, and the peace. His last words were peace, peace be with you. A leader of opposition. Leader of opposition will second the motion, and we will have an independent then.
Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, I rise to second the motion and to pay tribute to Pope Francis, an exemplary religious leader who significantly contributed to the reshaping of the global moral compass. His legacy will be remembered not only within the Catholic Church, but also around the world by those who cherish truth, justice, and the inherent dignity of every human being. Pope Francis was more than a religious leader. He was a voice of reason and compassion in a world increasingly torn by division, inequality, and greed. He championed social justice, urged governments to prioritize the poor, and advocated against global systems that perpetuate suffering. His encyclical Laudato Si reminded us all of our urgent responsibility to care for our planet. This message is even more critical today as we witness the devastating impacts of climate change across Uganda and the world. Pope Francis warned us of the consequences of exploiting nature and ignoring our duty as stewards of creation. Sadly, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, environmental degradation continues to displace communities, destroy livelihoods, and deepen poverty. Pope Francis's clarion call should, therefore, serve as a wake-up call to urgently rethink our development approach and harness the environment sustainably for the benefit of present and future generations. Right Honourable Speaker and honourable colleagues, Pope Francis was a bridge builder who crossed the boundaries of faith, politics, and ideology. He reached out to Muslims, Jews, and people of no faith. If we are to move forward as a country, we must begin by seeing one another not through and a place in our shared future. Pope Francis spoke to presidents, prisoners, refugees, and the forgotten with the same humility. Perhaps what made him truly revolutionary was his simplicity. He rejected the glorification of titles and preferred to be called just Francis. In a world where power often corrupts, he embodied the opposite. Right Honourable Speaker and honourable colleagues, as you will recall, Pope Francis visited Uganda in 2015 and brought with him messages that were both timely and deeply powerful. Speaking with clarity and urgency, he reminded our leaders that the development of a nation depends not only on infrastructure, but more importantly, on upright and honest leaders and citizens who are guided by a spirit of service. His words were not abstract. They were a direct call for action for all of us in public leadership. Honourable colleagues, the legacy of Pope Francis challenges us to reflect deeply on the kind of leadership we offer this country. It must never be about position, entitlement, or self-preservation. True leadership, as he demonstrated, is about serving the people with humility, dignity, and humanity. He advocated for justice, transparency, and servant leadership. We, as leaders, must reflect seriously on these values today. At a time when our nation is experiencing a painful breakdown in governance, public resources are being looted, and citizens live in fear. That fear is not abstract, but a bitterly lived experience. Ugandans are being arbitrarily arrested, tortured, and detained without trial for days, some months. Security forces are used to silence dissent, and citizens speak quietly about issues that should be debated openly. Pope Francis's message on such situations was very clear. The dignity of every human being must be upheld, and no government should rule through fear. To the youth, he urged them not to lose hope and not to be discouraged. In today's Uganda, where the youth face unemployment, repression, and hopelessness, his message is more urgent than ever. He wanted young people to become change makers, not victims of a broken system. The Pope's humility stands in stark contrast to the emergence of a new class of untouchables in Uganda. These individuals conceal their abuse of power behind their titles, and they trample on the rights of ordinary people. In Pope Francis's world, titles are meaningless if they are not accompanied by service. Today, titles have increasingly become shields against accountability. Today, titles have increasingly become shields against accountability. During his visit to Nalukolongo, Pope Francis met the elderly and the disabled. He said, "It is in caring for the weakest members of society that we show our true strength. It is therefore a tragic irony that while many Ugandans go without health care, clean water, or even hope, their taxes are stolen by a few who occupy various positions of influence in our country." Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, Pope Francis's legacy challenges us. It highlights our failures as the political elite and motivates us to strive for improvement. He serves as a reminder that leadership is not about status but about service. Service means standing with the vulnerable, speaking the truth, and living with integrity. As we celebrate his life and legacy, let us pledge to uphold the principles he represented: humility, justice, and compassion. That is the Uganda that Pope Francis would have wanted to see. May the soul of Pope Francis rest in eternal peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable members, as we pay respect to the most respected Holy Pope, we should pay it with respect and dignity. We can talk about politics after, but for now, let's talk about the man of God, who was full of humility, simplicity. Tinker.
I want to thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker, to thank the Right Honourable Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Leader of Opposition, for the good submissions about the late, our Holy Father, Francis. Today, Parliament, I want to really thank you so much for giving us a crying hand, shoulder, particularly the Catholic Church, for losing our Holy Father. For us, we move in strength that we got a new Holy Father when we saw the smoke, but for this purpose, the white smoke, for this purpose, I want to state that the Holy Father that I met, I will greatly miss him. When we went to see him last year, when you move in the first gate, you are meeting a serious head of state. When you go to the second gate, you start seeing simplicity. Third gate, you start seeing a man who is trusting in the total protection of God. Then the fourth gate, you see joy and peace prevailing in the environment where he meets his subjects, all the people that he meets. I was very excited to receive his blessing. I was very excited to kiss his ring and to accept. I was very, very excited that at the age of 53, as a Catholic, that's when I was able to meet him, to at least touch the hands of the Pope. It's incredible, but we want to say this leader that we met had special attributes in the world. For instance, I remember there is a time he spoke about blessing the homosexuals. A tornado of attack went against him, including the church, the people he was leading, cardinals, bishops writing letters. But he said, even when I have authority to excommunicate anyone who disagrees with me, I will not call forth against that. You see a leader who understood his responsibility as handed over to him from the reign of St. Peter, the apostle of Jesus, the first pope. And he recognized that he was merely the 266th pope of the world, of the Catholic Church. I was very excited in one of his doings as a pope. He allowed single mothers who would want to return to receiving the Holy Communion to undertake the rituals in return to receiving the Holy Communion. We cannot underlook that aspect, because we have seen the entire world growing with single mothers struggling for years, and I think they needed to struggle with the Lord.
Thank you. Lucy?
What else would I say? I pray that we who had that personal touch with him shall slowly stand the loss and move with the strength of the blessings that we received from him. May the Lord have mercy on his dear servant Francis and receive him on his right hand side.
Thank you, Honorable Lucy, Honorable Musasizi.
Thank you so much.
I'll give all of you, including Aisha.
Thank you so much, Madam. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for giving us this opportunity to visit track.
See, he launched the year of Jubilee this year, and he died when it was not complete. But I know it was dear to him. He was buried at St. Mary's Major
Basilica. Madam Speaker, Pope Francis was a peacemaker. Those of you who watch the videos, how he kissed the feet of the leaders from South Sudan. And I pray that South Sudan finds peace. When to say about Pope Francis? He said, I conclude it a precious legacy. Precious legacy, and he said, we must make good use of this legacy. Madam Speaker, if I don't say this about Pope Francis, I would not have done justice to him. Finally, Pope Francis loved children with a passion. The elderly, the disabled. I remember every time we have the private audience, there is a special corner for families with children. Even if you're the president, you will never take that seat as long as you don't have a child. You will not sit on that seat. And it is the front seat where he comes from because he wants to emerge and see children. And when he sees children, you see the genuine smile that beams from his face, the excitement that he has. Several times he has stopped his motorcade just to go and greet children. Several times he has stopped his motorcade to go and say hello to the disabled person. My God, this world will miss Pope Francis. But we are consoled as Catholics that we now have Pope Leo the 14th. For those of you who don't know him, go and study about him.
Thank you.
He's going to be a lot more. And because the Catholic Church relies on the Holy Spirit in the selection of the Pope. We were wrong as human beings in saying we want this, we want that. But the Holy Spirit had already chosen Pope Leo the 14th. And he's taking over from Pope Leo the 13th, who is the promoter of the Catholic social teaching. If you don't know, this is the best document you can read. Go and read. It has everything to do with human rights, justice, democracy. That was promoted by Pope Leo the 13th. And he is going to continue with this legacy. Pope Leo the 14th will continue from where Pope Leo the 13th stopped. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. And I greet you, our Pope Nuncio, and the team that has come from Catholic Secretariat. We continue to pray for Pope Francis to rest in peace.